Prince Harry's latest BBC interview didn't just raise eyebrows, it sent shivers down spines. Once celebrated as the cheeky royal rogue with a heart of gold, he now sat ashen, vacant, distant. The spark that once made him magnetic snuffed out. His voice, once playful, occasionally defiant, had melted into a dull, numbing monotone. His eyes flickered, not with laughter, not with light, but with something colder, caged, detached. It didn't feel like a media appearance. It felt like a broadcast from a psychological holding cell. And as millions watched, one uncomfortable truth began to crystallize. He no longer seemed to recognize the sound of his own voice. The whispers that had trailed him for years, rumors of isolation, grooming, control, returned. Only now, they weren't whispers. They were sirens. And this time, they pointed in a chillingly familiar direction. Meghan. But what we're witnessing isn't just manipulation. It's something deeper, darker, more final. This is the quiet death of identity. A prince rewritten, a legacy rebranded, a slow, surgical erasure of the man the world once called our Harry. There was a time when Harry was chaos in a red uniform, and we loved him for it. He wasn't polished, he wasn't perfect, but he was real. He hugged wounded soldiers like long-lost brothers. He danced barefoot with orphans in Lesotho. He called reporters out, lost his temper, smiled through gaffes. And yes, he wore that Nazi costume, an idiotic, unforgivable mistake that made headlines worldwide, but also marked the beginning of his growing up. His reckoning. He was raw, flawed, human. But now he speaks like a man auditioning for empathy, without ever quite feeling it. Each phrase sounds practiced, scripted. Each pause feels calculated, as if he's waiting for a producer's nod behind the curtain. He's not answering questions. He's reciting pre-approved talking points. Critics call it the Markle monologue, a PR cadence designed to extract sympathy while avoiding accountability. Even Thomas Markle Jr. claims Meghan scripts Harry's appearances personally, reducing heartfelt trauma into strategic soundbites. And the transformation is visible. Body language experts have analyzed the footage. The eyes dart, the jaw locks, the shoulders stiffen, the easy, cheeky grins, the ones that once disarmed even the harshest critics, are gone, replaced by robotic nods, hollow half-smiles, and a gaze that constantly flicks off camera, as if seeking silent validation. This isn't sharing, it's performance, complete with lighting, framing, and emotional choreography. And the script? It never changes. They did this to us. They tried to silence us. They wouldn't protect us. But here's the real question. Is Harry being controlled, or has he surrendered so completely that he no longer notices? Here's where it twists from PR disaster to psychological breakdown. In recent interviews, Harry doesn't just criticize the monarchy, he scorches it. He's accused his father, the king, of abandonment. He's implied that the firm tried to erase his existence. He's painted the British media as an existential threat to his children, and by extension, Britain itself. These are no longer personal grievances. They're declarations of war against the very soil that raised him. So what's driving this? Insiders say Meghan is obsessed with reviving the Diana martyr arc. Not as homage, as blueprint. But here's the tragic irony. Diana, flawed, beloved, haunted, fought like hell to protect her sons from royal dysfunction. Meghan, critics argue, is weaponizing Diana's ghost to burn down every bridge behind Harry. Yes, Harry's trauma is real. No one questions that. But now it feels polished, packaged, monetized. He's not processing grief. He's pitching it. You don't hear a man in pain. You hear a trailer voiceover for the next documentary drop. A royal under siege. A father fighting to be heard. The untold truth. And with every new interview, memoir, podcast, or streaming deal, Harry fades. He isn't evolving, he's dissolving. Not a man anymore, but a media brand extension in Meghan's carefully curated empire. Meanwhile, Meghan's public life tells a far different story. Her Instagram and media presence radiate calm. Lavender fields, handwritten affirmations, mornings with matcha and manifesting. Photos that say inner peace, captions that whisper self-care. But behind the serenity is a trail of scorched earth. Her father, who paid her tuition, estranged. Her childhood best friends, erased. Her ex-husband, reportedly dubbed via a returned engagement ring in the mail. And now, Harry, the once defiant prince, seemingly isolated from everyone who ever loved him. Thomas Markle Jr. calls it the cycle. Get close, gain trust, extract value, discard. Former Palisades and longtime friends whisper the same thing. Harry didn't lose his support system, it was dismantled around him, quietly, systematically. No dramatic exits, no public fallouts, just sudden silences. Sources allege Meghan privately dismissed those who didn't serve the narrative, which translated means anyone who challenged her version of events. Today, Harry lives in what one aide chillingly described as a curated exile. Yes, there's wealth, yes, there's exposure, but is there truth, belonging, intimacy? Gone. He's not protected, he's isolated. And isolation is power's favorite cage. For now, Harry still holds value, his titles, his lineage, his proximity to the throne. But behind the scenes, the shine is fading. He's no longer HRH. The public's goodwill is evaporating. Spotify pulled the plug, Netflix is reportedly growing wary, and their Impact Foundation? Mostly headlines, few deliverables. So what happens when the prince stops printing press? According to Thomas Markle Jr. and other insiders, Meghan's strategy is brutally pragmatic. Leverage, then leave. If Harry no longer sells stories, boosts deals, or garners sympathy, he's a liability. And when that happens, what remains? A man exiled from his family, estranged from his homeland, abandoned by old friends, trapped in a glass mansion surrounded by contracts and NDAs, realizing, perhaps too late, that he sacrificed everything for a love that may have always been a transaction. This isn't a betrayal story. It's worse. It's the story of a man who mistook performance for purpose and jumped without checking if the net was real. This isn't a love story. It's a slow-motion tragedy. Prince Harry, once the rebel royal, the people's prince, gave up crown, country, and kin for the promise of freedom. But what he got wasn't liberation. It was a role. He wanted truth, he got talking points. He wanted healing, he got headlines. He wanted a life, he became a brand. And now, as the cameras keep rolling and the sound bites stack higher, one chilling question lingers louder than ever. Where did Harry go? Because the most haunting disappearances aren't the ones where someone vanishes. They're the ones where the person is still right in front of you, smiling, speaking, sitting under studio lights, but everything they were is already gone.